In busy city streets and in quiet towns alike, there exists a palpable sense of disconnection, an intangible void that weighs heavily upon the hearts of many. Amidst the ceaseless pursuit of earthly pleasures, a profound longing for something deeper, something transcendent, remains unfulfilled, and so many of us are unhappy because we are not connected to who we truly are. True peace and happiness lies in the cultivation of a deep and abiding connection to something greater than ourselves, a connection that nourishes the soul, sustains the spirit, and imbues life with a rich source of meaning and purpose. I'm going to explain why you need to make spirituality the most important thing in your life. When you do this, your whole life will be built on something sturdy, something unshakable. Then all the experiences you have, everything you do will just be so much more pleasant. You'll be happier on literally every step of the path. That's how important this is. So the common narrative our culture and society gives us, which is it's been doing for a long time, is that you go to school, you get educated, you go to college, you get a degree, you try to get the best possible job that you can. Then maybe you get married and you have children, you get a mortgage and nice big house, then you grow old and you die. And that's it. That's what most people's lives ought to look like. However, I think many people now are realizing that that life, that sort of life, is kind of missing something. I'm not saying that sort of life's bad. If you want to have that sort of life, great, have that sort of life. But when you're connected spiritually, even that sort of life takes on a different meaning. That sort of life has more to it than you being disconnected. When you're connected spiritually, you can literally create whatever sort of life that you want, whatever it is. You can sit in a cave and meditate, and you'll enjoy every second of it. That's why this is the missing piece. So maybe you've tried the traditional path that the world gives us. Maybe you've got frustrated with that and you've stumbled into spirituality. You've read some Eckhart Tolle books. Maybe you watch some spiritual YouTube videos. You meditate even. And then what might happen is you might kind of become a bit conflicted. This is what happened to me. So the conflict may be, like a lot of spirituality may tell you to renounce desire, renounce the things that you want, and just become almost monk-like. Just sit in silence all day, just sit meditating all day. You shouldn't need or want anything because you have no ego. Your whole sense of self is just an illusion. But then there's another part of you that wants to have certain experiences. And so I kind of got stuck here for a bit, but you can actually reconcile these two kind of ideas, which is one of the main things I wanted to talk about here. How can we take how can we take spirituality and make that the foundation for your life so you can actually experience and grow and learn and have the sorts of experiences you want to have. Okay, the two can work together. So I just want to introduce you to this diagram I created. I just call it ego layers. This diagram is just meant to represent the human psyche on a very basic level, right? It's not anything super technical or advanced. It's just basic, but it's important to understand what's going on. The center part is your true self, is your true being, who you really are. These layers, these three circles you see, are parts of our ego that we identify with. The first layer we've got is thoughts and emotions. So we tend to identify with our thoughts and emotions. The second layer, we've got things like self-image, how you see yourself, self-concept, the sort of person that you would like to be, and self-esteem, how you feel about yourself. And we identify with all these things. And then the outermost layer, we've got things like goals, roles, social identity, relationships, kind of your persona and the face you show the world. You are keeping all of these three layers of ego alive through identification. That's the most important thing to understand. Many people believe they are these things. What spirituality would teach you is that you are not these things, you are the thing in the middle. In this next diagram, you can see arrows. You are the thing in the middle who is identifying with these layers. These yellow arrows represent your awareness going outwards and identifying. You identify with your thoughts. You identify with your emotions. You think something. You think it's real. Why does that happen? Because consciousness is so powerful. Wherever you direct it, it makes it come alive. Beyond that, self-image, you believe you are a certain sort of person and you maintain that. You act it out. You believe it. Why is that? Because your consciousness is, obviously a lot of this is subconscious, but your consciousness is keeping these ideas alive. To change it, obviously you need to change your subconscious, but I'm not going to get into that here. The outermost layer is the roles you play, the relationships, blah, blah, blah. Again, you think you're a certain sort of person, you've got to show up in a certain sort of way, and you keep these external things alive, again, through identifying, through directing your attention to them. So the point is, wherever you direct your attention toward, wherever you give consciousness to, you give energy to, and you make it come alive, literally. So if this is what you are doing, you don't know that you're doing it, and you're believing you are something that you're not. You're caught up in these layers. That's the point I'm trying to make. So the first step to make spirituality the most important step of your life is to realize that you are the thing in the middle. I've got plenty of other videos on this. Practice things like meditation, read spiritual books. You have to come back to the middle. You have to. Before you can start to build anything in your life or change your life, you need to come back to the center. Only then will you build a life that is built on something solid. You'll only have a solid foundation if you build your life on the truth. Consciousness is like ground zero. There's nothing before it. That's where you've got to start from. When you understand that's what you are at your core, then everything you do from that place will take on a different quality. Everything will just be better. You'll be happier. And when it comes to, say, having the sorts of experiences that you want to have, that'll be much easier to do as well, or achieve. Simply because when you know that you are the part in the middle, the other layers lose importance. All the importance you've been given to your life, it just becomes less important, right? And you might think, oh, well, I don't want my life to be less important, but it actually frees you up. Really, it's like a massive weight is taken off your shoulders. You realize you don't need to impress anybody. You don't need approval from anybody. You don't need to get validation from anybody. You don't need it. And then you might look at the things you've been trying to achieve or move towards and start to question why you were moving toward them. Because deep down you wanted approval. But when you understand you are the thing in the middle, you were just here having an experience, there's no need for approval. Because you realize there's no need for approval, you automatically begin to approve of yourself. Your approval is not dependent on what other people think about you or what you're doing. And this completely changes the way you go about your life. So I like to look at life as a game now. This is how I see it. It's just a game. But that doesn't make it any less important. If anything, I want to play this game, right? It's a fun game. Life's just a game. You're just here to experience different things. You're here to learn. You're here to grow. And we use reality to learn, experience, and grow. And there's many, many different games you can play. There's the game of relationships. Maybe you want to have an intimate relationship. Maybe you want to have a family. Nothing's going to help you grow more than having an intimate relationship. Nothing's going to bring up your unconscious patterns more than having a relationship, right? So it's a great opportunity to grow. Maybe you want to get in great health and you want to look in good health. So again, that's just something that's another game you can play where you learn about yourself, you learn about your body, you're just gaining knowledge, right? The spirit wants to learn. Maybe you want to become financially free because you hate being tied down to a 9-to-5, right? Very popular, common path for people now. And it's a good path, but it's just a game. Like I said, this doesn't make it anything less important. You want to play the game for the game's sake. It's like video games, right? You play video games, you love playing video games. Why? You know the game's not real, but you still love playing it. It becomes like that. Except reality is like the grown-up game. Video games like for kids. When you mature, you understand, you know what, I want to play these games in adult life because they're fun. I actually want to win because I just want to see what I'm capable of. You want to test yourself. Any form of testing yourself is going to grow your spirit. More of you comes through. Because you have a lot of blocks, right? Even when you realize that you are this consciousness in the middle, it's about allowing more and more of that to shine through. So you need to play these games in life to help more of you shine through. But you don't play the games because you think you are lacking. You don't pursue financial freedom just because you want people to approve of you, or you want to prove people wrong. You lose all of that. You just do it for the sake of testing yourself. You play the game for the sake of playing the game. And this frees you up a lot, right? It takes so much pressure off you. There's less stress. Life just becomes like a ride. If you're that sort of person who's like desperately trying to grind towards your goals because you want to prove everybody wrong, and you think you don't ever want to let go of that motivation, trust me, you're doing it wrong. If you come back to find out who you really are, you'll probably get where you want to go to quicker, you'll enjoy it more, and you won't give a shit what anybody thinks about you, right? You won't care about proving anybody wrong. You'll just do it for the sake of doing it. And what realizing your true essence does is it helps you detach a little bit. Again, it doesn't mean you completely detach and you have nothing to do with the world, but it creates some detachment. And it's enough detachment for you to kind of take a step back. Instead of always getting caught up in everything, imagine if you could just take a step back and actually look at what's going on and then make decisions. Instead of being so caught up in your thoughts and emotions and your self-image and the approval you want from other people, but to actually be more objective and make wise choices, that's a place of power. Right? It gives you more freedom. You make better, more intelligent choices. And ultimately what happens, I found, is you will experience things that you've been working towards, right? Which is super cool. What I used to do was I'd work towards something, I'd actually get the thing I wanted to have, and then I'd kind of move on to the next thing. I think, do you know what? Now I need the next thing. I didn't actually enjoy the thing that I was working toward. When you get more present and you find your true self, everything becomes more fulfilling. That thing you're desperately want to move towards, you'll get there and you'll probably actually enjoy it because your self-worth is not attached to it. When you're attaching your self-worth to things, that self-worth attachment just gets projected onto the next thing. So you can never actually enjoy wherever you end up. But when you're present, you'll get there, you'll achieve the thing, and you're like, do you know what? I can just enjoy this. I've wanted this for so long. Let me just enjoy it. Then maybe you want to go and do something else or something bigger. That's cool. But the foundation has to be the true self. Like, find out who you really are. And if anything, everything you want to experience will come to you easier. It's just weird how things work out. Just stop taking things as seriously, right? You'll just stop caring. You can change your character. You can become, say, an entrepreneur. You can become a fitness guy. You can become whoever you want to become. You understand these are just roles. None of them are permanent. You just play these games. You play these characters. You play these roles. All the while knowing you're just in the background. You're just having different experiences. That's all it is. And you can change the character whenever you want and become completely transform yourself, right? All the while, though, knowing who you truly are and just playing the game. That's all it is. But the game's the best game to be played. And then eventually, maybe you'll get old and you'll realize that I'm tired of playing these games. I've experienced everything I wanted to experience. So now I'm just going to chill out and I'm just going to meditate in a cave somewhere. And that's all you'll want to do. There's a lot of time, perhaps, before you get there. Maybe that's all you want to do now, which is cool as well. But all I want to do in this video is help you see that this is the most important thing in your life. Don't just do spirituality as a part-time thing. Make it everything. And when you are grounded in that, build on that. So I hope this video kind of helps some of you out. If you have any comments, anything to add, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to hit me up down below. If you did enjoy the video as well, if you could please go ahead and give it a like, share, subscribe. Really helps me out. But until next time, God bless.